Okay, hello and welcome to the Movie Power Ranking Show. I'm your host, Gabriel Alexander, and with me today is critic Mike Romick. Mike, how are you doing?
Very good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm well. Excited to do the podcast today because between last podcast and now, we've caught quite a few things. So figured might as well get some reviews out there. Mike, you've got surgery this week, so we're trying to get this in here before your surgery. So good luck.
Minor knee surgery, nothing, not brain surgery. So okay.
Okay, not the needed surgery, the brain surgery.
Yeah, right. My lobotomy is scheduled for later in the year.
Okay, so today we're going to get into some reviews, but first, Mike, we played a little music today to open the show, and you got a guess on the movie.
Boy, it did not sound familiar to me, so you're going to have to give me the answer.
Okay, it's related to something that's coming out soon, if that's a little hint that jogs the memory. Same director is going to be directing the new movie coming up, and that was Thor Ragnarok. No. Yes, that was
right. Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok was the music to open up the show, and that was Mark Mothersbaugh is the composer on that.
Wow.
And so again, maybe later in the show we're going to do a little preview of things to come, which would be the Minions movie and the new Thor: Love and Thunder. So. But first, like always, we're going to do errors and omissions from the last show. The last show was a review show for Jurassic World and other things that we saw. So, Mike, you had a error or something, a correction from last show that you wanted to talk about. I have Harry Potter and what was it, The Cursed Child?
Yes. I mean, there was, I had to check into it to get more information, and I was glad I did. The play is called Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And as I said, it was a two-part play that was, great reviews, Tony Awards and all, and then the business was dropping off so they condensed it into one that actually runs 3.5 hours. And, of course, there's problems with the pandemic and all, and it has reopened, and I checked the grosses, and it's still doing very well. And what I was very shocked at was that it's actually touring, because as I understand, which I would love to see it, but the set is like incredible and just breathtaking, and it is touring. So somehow they figured out to either work that set out on a touring thing, and it's not coming to Cleveland not this season. So I hope hopefully in the near future. But, it's still doing, in the 94% of seats are filled there, and it was published as a book, but the play, and that sold very well, and, with it touring and all, the movie's going to be down the road a bit, and, when the play came out, they went to Daniel Radcliffe, almost said Daniel Craig, Daniel Radcliffe, and, he said, no, he wasn't interested. Well, we're down the road a bit, and, they'll offer the right amount of money, so I'm assuming Daniel Radcliffe will be willing to come back, because it isn't going to be soon. They're going to do with this touring productions, and there's more than one of this touring production of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. So sort of just more or less, it's not a correction, a clarification on that. And you have a very good correction. That's like, wow, I was stunned when you told me.
Yeah. So like I said in our last video, I was like, well, I'm going to watch a breakdown on the Jurassic World movies. I want to know all the dinosaur names and stuff. And so while I was watching that, shout out the Heavy Spoilers YouTube channel. But he clarified our little conversation on that Barbasol can, Mike, from Jurassic World Dominion. And, I had kind of I was correct in saying that it was the Dodgson character from the first Jurassic Park. That was the villain and all that. But the Barbasol can, I said, they probably recovered it, because it might have had a tracker on it or something, and, they might have, gone after it. But, which then Heavy Spoilers channel said that, yes, in the Camp Cretaceous show on Netflix, it's a, Jurassic Park animated show, mostly for kids, but it does have that recovery of that Barbasol can in one of those episodes. So, he was able, Paul from Heavy Spoilers was able to clarify that. And so, yes, I guess I was right. But again, this was, just more of a clarification too, and expanding on that Barbasol can that we were talking about on the last show.
So just to clarify for me, the guy that gives Nedry the can is the Campbell Scott character in the new one.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. Okay, moving on. Anything else, Mike, for your errors or omissions?
No, I think we did pretty good.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into some movies then that we've seen. Mike, we'll start off with your review of Elvis, which I'm looking at our news, and it looks like it's battling for the top spot at the box office this weekend with Top
Gun, or?
Yeah, with Top Gun. And looks like Black Phone, which we'll talk about next, is got 23 million, which is pretty good for a horror movie.
Yeah, probably
summer,
more than, probably into profit already. Yeah. Now, Elvis, as we talked about Baz Luhrmann, I'm, hot and cold and mixed on him. But, again, at 2 hours and 39 minutes, it's long and it feels long. And it's sort of Mulan Elvis for the first part of the movie. I don't know, I would say a good half hour. And it's got an odd framing device where you're at Colonel Tom Parker, the Tom Hanks character's dying, and then he's looking back on his life and he's taking a tour. I mean, it was really weird. I mean, you could have dropped that off, made the movie much shorter. And then there's some animated sections, and I thought, oh my God, it's going to be Mulan Elvis. I don't know, I was worried. And then it sort of calms down, and I won't say it gets normal. I mean, it's as normal as Baz Luhrmann could be, but again, it's produced. Some might say overproduced, but the performances, and particularly Austin Butler as Elvis, is quite amazing. And Tom Hanks, it took me a little while to get used to him. He's got some bad reviews with his accent and all, but I got used to him, and I didn't have an issue with him, and he was fine, and the woman who plays Priscilla Presley is good, and there's some good, interesting supporting performances, and the musical sequences are very good. I mean, you got to be an Elvis fan, and overall, I was surprised. I liked it. I had worries, and the audience. It was funny because it had a really good audience. We went to an early show on Thursday, I believe, and boy, women are coming out. If they say women, we had a lot of women in the audience for the Downton Abbey New Era, and there were lots of groups of women coming out for the Elvis movie, and I think I was reading about, they're very happy with the business on Friday, and that, it was all an older audience, which is very true. I mean, I don't think young people are going to be moderately interested, as you said you weren't. But again, I think it'll find an audience, but I don't think it was a cheap movie to produce, so it's going to have a ways to go, but it might have a life in Europe or in foreign countries. And there were some things I didn't know, and I thought that I'm a big Elvis. I don't know all his stuff, but that his mother was an alcoholic. I mean, I always heard she was like a saint. Well, he might have thought she was a saint, but she had a drinking issue, and that I just assumed he toured overseas and stuff, and that's a plot point I won't mess up for you. But again, he did not. And but no, it was interesting, and I'd recommend it with reservations. But you better have an interest in Elvis. If you don't, you probably wouldn't be going near it anyway.
Yeah, I think I'll catch it, like if it goes streaming somewhere. But I'm obviously not going to go to the theater and see it. And I think they'll be happy with it if it's going to, at least be battling for the top spot in the box office. We'll see how it holds up over the weeks. If it I have a feeling it might take a drop off here after this weekend. So,
but you had Bohemian Rhapsody, which of course Oscar wins, and terrific business. You had Rocket Man, and good business, and this, and and all three lead performances in those movies were terrific. I mean, and of the bunch, I think Rocket Man was the best. It was the most imaginative handling of the Elton John story.
Yeah.
And then, Bohemian Rhapsody was terrific. And again, I don't think anybody saw the success of Bohemian Rhapsody coming. I mean, Freddie Mercury and Queen, I mean, successful, but again, a smaller audience than, like a Elton John or even an Elvis. But again, it hit a nerve and people really liked it. And, even though the reviews were sort of mixed, I mean, it was not well received. And, I think it got 4 Oscars and, he wins the best actor. And, it's like, nobody predicted that. And, no, I mean, of the 3 movies, I mean, Elvis is probably the lesser of the 3, but still, it's well done.
Yeah, well, don't forget about Walk the Line. That was critically acclaimed, and that was Johnny Cash and Joaquin Phoenix playing him. And then you had Ray, so Jamie Foxx got, I think, an Oscar for Ray. And I believe, this may be on our errors, corrections next time, but I think there's a Jimi Hendrix movie coming out. You had the Oliver Stone Doors movie. So these kind of, music biopics, they do business. They get, critical acclaim. And so, they're going to keep making them. So we got Jimi Hendrix. Mike, give me a prediction on one that hasn't been done, and what's a band or a music, artist that we might get a biopic on.
Well, someone, you could do a John Lennon, but again, you'd have to deal with Yoko Ono on that. And again, you have so much footage, whether the Peter Jackson documentary Get Back, and so again, there's potential there. You have to have someone who has a lot of, drama in his life. Because, there was a Jimi Hendrix biopic, but again, the problem was dealing with his estate. They could use the music, if I recall correctly. And how do you make a movie on Jimi Hendrix and they're gonna just, he goes on stage and then you go to after the show. I mean, I think the problem with the Jimi Hendrix is getting the music rights from his heirs or whoever legally is handling his estate. But there's potential out there, and as long as they make money, which again, Bohemian Rhapsody, a big hit, Rocket Man, modest hit, and Elvis probably a decent-sized hit. I mean, and then Walk the Line, if you're going back in time, was a good-sized hit. And, of course, Reese Witherspoon won the Oscar, not the Johnny Cash character. And then you had Ray, of course, a terrific performance by Jamie Foxx, and he wins the Oscar. So, there's audiences there. They just, it has to be a good movie. And, if they make a good movie, and, a lot of times, they skirt around the uncomfortable truths, but, to be expected. I mean, you go back to Cary Grant playing Cole Porter in Night and Day, and it's like, he's this happily married, bon vivant, and it's like, yeah, not exactly. If you see the, Kevin Kline movie where it's like, no, he had some sexuality issues there that weren't going to be touched in a 1940s musical, but, again, there's money to be made, and hopefully good movies to be made, too.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on to a movie that you and I caught, Mike, on Friday, The Black Phone, directed by Scott Derrickson. It was a Blumhouse production for Universal. So, Mike, what did you think? Then I'll go into it. This did have a lot of nice reviews, so I think that's kind of the reason we went to see it. Is we were expecting a good movie because of the reviews on it. So, what were your thoughts on The Black Phone?
Well, I was not familiar with his work, which you were, whether it was Sinister or the Exorcism of Emily Rose, and there's another one. What's the other one I'm leaving out?
He did Doctor Strange the first time.
Well, of course, I've seen Doctor Strange the first time. Yeah, but again, that is not in that same wheelhouse as these of The Black Phone and Sinister, and again, it's so I heard about the reviews, and Rotten Tomatoes had 100% at one point, and you had said you'd like these other movies, so we went, and it was a disappointment. I think I liked it a little better than you did, but again, it's sort of like a YA Silence of the Lambs. And again, after the movie we talked, and there's lots of questions. Which again, while I was watching it, I was sort of went with it, but there are issues with this as far as you also have supernatural elements with the black phone. Not messing too much things up, too many spoilers there, and it has that same sort of greenish tint to it, which a lot of the Blue Mouse productions do, and I thought the cast was good. I thought the young kid was okay, and Ethan Hawke, face covered by a mask for most of the movie, almost all the movie, and I thought it had some suspense, and I think you commented on not too many jump scares, which that's sort of a cheap way to get people to be frightened, and but. No, I mean, it was good. I think as we both agreed, wildly overpraised. And not won't say wild, let's say overpraised. And it's like, it was suspenseful, and it was not too wildly gruesome, and it did have some interesting twists that I didn't see coming. But it's also, in addition to Silence of the Lambs, I was certainly reminded of it with the balloons and the. And he's instead of a clown, it's a magician, and there's lots of borrowings here that after I went back and read some of the very favorable reviews, and a lot of people comment on it, but again, they're giving it like a check mark for originality, and I think originality is not your strong suit with the black phone. But anyway, let's give us your reaction.
All right, buckle up. I'm gonna throw some spoilers in here just because of my annoyance with this movie. Kind of. I'd maybe like to see it again, maybe give it another shot. But here's what I liked. I liked the setting in the 70s. It was the late 70s. I bought it. It was kind of like a period piece. Where, they didn't have the technology, so you still had like the rotary phones and all that. And, so I bought it. I liked that it had like kind of a drabby look to it, just kind of a very depressed look to the movie. So again, I thought the production on it all was okay. And, some of the direction and stuff was good. But let me get into just the things that drove me crazy. All right. I almost feel like it's intentionally trying to be like things were tougher back then. Like kids were fighting and beating the crap out of each other back in the 70s, and that's just how it was. And I think it was like almost like glamorizing that. It's just like, I don't know. Didn't like that. I didn't like some of the kid actors. I just didn't buy it a lot of times. I just, I could tell they were kind of like nervous or like kind of knew they were on screen, or knew they were on camera. And Scott Derrickson, like I mentioned to you, he does, I think, work with kids a lot in his stories, because I think Sinister was all about like kids being terrorized by that, whatever monster was in Sinister. So I understand that he kind of has that motif where he works with kids and child actors, but just this time around, I wasn't buying it. I just didn't, our lead even sometimes, I just questioned some of the acting choices, and I think, you could have maybe gotten a better take or something.
And I wasn't crazy about the sister who has some, dreams that,
I'm glad you bring that up. Because what did she do? Like, what is this? Like, she's like saying like Jesus is leading her, and then she says, "Oh, maybe you're not real." And I didn't really get that. Like, is it like
she inherited from her mother?
Yeah, and the mother had these. I almost thought we were going to get a Firestarter crossover. No.
Well, did you not get a Stranger Things vibe here too?
Again, yes. I think what you were saying is right. They're borrowing from Stranger Things. They're borrowing from it, and it's kind of like they're making their own kind of take on that kind of a period piece horror movie.
We also have to mention that it's written based on a short story from Joe Hill, who, of course, is Stephen King's son.
Yes, and then the other writer on it with Scott Derrickson is that Robert Cargill, which he was on Ain't It Cool News, and he turned into a screenwriter. So I know he worked with Scott Derrickson. I think it was on Sinister as well, and maybe even Doctor Strange. But again, I think this is just like a Blumhouse version of like of a period piece horror. But let me get it. There's other things, Mike, like the whole window grate thing. He gets the window grate out. Like I gave spoilers, but he gets the window thing out, and then we totally forget about it. Like he doesn't try to break the glass on the window. He digs this hole, which he kind of like gives up on, and I don't know.
And the grabber doesn't notice that grate is missing.
What is he?
And the grabber doesn't go into other parts where he's doing things as far as going into the wall and into the floor.
He obviously will be like sitting creepily in the room. You don't think he's gonna notice it. And then, I mean, spoilers, but when the whole brother thing hits his brothers staying with him, and I thought that was stupid. I mean,
and without giving away too much, as we were very not angry, but we mentioned as soon as we pretty much when we got out of the movie that the very vibe where you think you're somewhere, but you're not. Yes. I mean, that's almost a cliche.
Yeah, classic horror trope or whatever.
Well, I won't say classic. Let's say it's become a cliche.
Yeah, you're probably right. And and I know the brother was kind of in there for a little comic relief. But no, the sister thing the more I thought about it, it just irritated me even more,
And also the fact that the brother is obsessed with the child disappearances, and we're going like, really? And that the police don't think it's odd to begin with when they talk to the brother. I mean, he would have been a prime suspect to me if he's obsessed with these disappearances and they like blow him off.
Yeah. Or the fact that like all these kids should be on high alert, and then all of a sudden the brother like comes across this creepy black van and this guy, and he like, I would be running the other direction. But that's a horror movie. You got to have those things happen. But I mean, no, I was bothered by the movie more and more after thinking about it.
Yeah, when you think about it, there's lots of issues that they could have solved, but and that the reviews, just don't even mention this. I mean, and it's like, I just don't get it. I mean, did he have a nice dinner, a buffet for all these critics or something? I just don't get it. I mean, it's like, it's not that the worst, but again, like I said, I liked it better than you because I was particularly held by the suspense. A lot of my issues didn't come to the fore until we're talking about it, and I thought, that was goofy, or it doesn't hold up when you think about it. And I think seeing it again, it beholds it'd be one of what I like to call a Swiss cheese movie, where it's like, oh my God, one hole after another.
Yeah, I mean, I'll reserve judgment maybe a little bit if I see it again, but I don't know. I don't
go back and read some reviews, Gabe, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like, and I don't know. But like I said, a disappointment, but, if you like that kind of a movie, you'll like it, but I think if you're going to love it, you got to be a critic and, that had a good screening of some sort.
Yeah, because I don't think there's that many jump scares to where a general audience will really like it. There's not all that much gore and killing. It's more of the tension and the suspense. So, yeah.
And I think a lot of people might like the idea that they're reminded of Stranger Things and It and Silence of the Lambs, and it's like, originality would have been a better way to go. But again, with that material, is it original? I mean, so particularly, it being his father's work. Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on from the Black Phone, and let's get your review, Mike, for The Phantom of the Open. It's another one of these British films you caught that, really, I didn't hear much about any of the ones. that we were kind of talking before the show, which would be like the outfit, which you caught, and then the Duke, which we covered on the show on one of our reviews, and then now there's this, the Phantom of the Open. So, what did you think of that? And tell us a little about it.
Well, here's 3 British movies, 3 of the best movies of the year. Most people have never heard of, aren't going to go to, hopefully will catch on streaming. And Mark Rylance in both a fabulous performance, very different performance in The Outfit as opposed to his performance in The Phantom of the Open. And I had never heard of this story. Starts in 1976, where it's about the world's worst golfer. And he knows nothing about golf and enters the British Open. And his wife is Sally Hawkins, a lot of terrific British supporting actors. And again, it's, I'm not a golfer. I was a miniature golfer every once in a while, and I have no big interest in golf, but I was with it every step of the way. And the fact that it's based on a true story, and it's one of those ones at the end, they have clips of the real people and stuff, and they talk about what actually, what occurred after the movie. And again, it was very funny, very heartfelt. I mean, some might say a little sentimental, which, yeah, it is. But again, it's like, it's like, what? You wouldn't believe this as a fictional story. Again, I assumed things were fictionalized. I double check on that. But again, it's like, no, I was with it every step of the way. When you got Sally Hawkins and Mark Rylance leading you, you're pretty much going to go where they want to take you. And again, it's just a wonderful movie. I mean, you care about all these people, even the people that are like, if not villains, at least, putting roadblocks in his way. You care about them all. And again, it's just, I mean, I can't recommend it highly enough. If you care nothing about golf, doesn't matter. You will, it's the underdog story that I was around in 76, I mean, but, who ever heard of this? But again, it's something that was like, if not a worldwide phenomenon, that moseyed over to the United States where, people had heard of it, and I can't mess up, there's a big plot point about that. But again, and just great. He has twin sons that are disco dancing champions, and he's got another son who's like a, super straight business type, and I mean, if you want to see 3 good movies, do The Outfit, The Duke, and Phantom of the Open, and God knows, I enjoyed Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and I enjoy those movies. I enjoy a big budget spectacular. I have concerns about Thor, which we'll talk about later. But again, it's like, no, I mean, there's other movies out there that will just, unexpected treasures, and that they're able to make these. And I would hope it made buckets of money in England because he was let's say a folk hero over there. But I couldn't recommend it. Hopefully it'll be streaming soon enough. But go to that, watch that.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of streaming, I caught 2 streamers on Netflix. They were releases in this month, the month of June. So I think I mentioned one on last show. I was trying to finish it, but I didn't get it finished in time for our podcast last time. But I caught the Hustle movie on Netflix with Adam Sandler and a bunch of other, basketball, big names in basketball and the NBA. And I enjoyed this film. It's a sports movie. Adam Sandler's character works for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's a scout. Robert Duvall is the owner of the team, and he gives Adam Sandler a promotion. But shortly after, Robert Duvall's character dies, and then the ownership of the team goes to his kids. And the kids don't have the same vision for the team that, their father did. And so Adam Sandler's kind of put back onto the scouting world where, he's out there traveling through Europe looking for basketball players. And prospects. So, and then he finds this guy in Spain, that he thinks is a good player, and, starts kind of trying to introduce him to the 76ers, and he's kind of blown off by the 76ers, so he kind of goes off on his own with this guy. They put their trust in each other, and I'm sure you can predict how the movie ends, Mike. But I thought it was nice. I mean, it was Adam Sandler was he was funny, but not like trying to be too overly funny. And then he's also showing, some of his dramatic chops. And I thought, this is better than some of those other Adam Sandler Netflix comedies I've watched where, it just kind of seemed like it was just a little too much or too silly or, or just not really much effort put into it. But
he made a lot of money with those, but they were not well received. I mean, I guess a lot of people watched them, but again, I didn't see any of those. How was the guy, our tall, his fine? How was he? Was he good?
No, he's just, he does very well.
Wow.
It reminds me of like, Ray Allen was in that movie on that Spike Lee movie, He Got Game, where, it's a hard thing for a guy who's a basketball player to try to do a little acting and stuff. I mean, a lot of it he's, playing basketball and training and stuff, but, his name is, Juancho Hernan Gomez.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, he's a younger player in the league. He's been in the league a couple years, so, but he still plays in the league, and, you also see a lot of other NBA players in this, and a lot of the players from the 76ers make appearances in this, and, a lot of other, figures like, Charles Barkley and Shaq and Kenny Smith are in this, and so
obviously a little better than Space Jam 2 with LeBron.
Yeah, no, this is way better than Space Jam 2. This is, watch this. If you like basketball and stuff, I mean, this is way better than that. And, no, I give this a good recommendation. I'm not gonna, have it on my top 10 list probably, but, no, it was an enjoyable movie, and, especially if you like those an inspirational kind of sports movie, you could probably tell where it's gonna go, but, still had a good time with it, so. Okay, Mike, I'm going to do my last one.
Okay.
This one is not going to get as kind of a review. This was that Spiderhead on Netflix with Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller, and...
the busy Miles Teller.
Yeah, he's in... there was the Journey Smollett is the girl in this, and... what a waste. This could have been a short film with no-name actors, and it probably would have been better. This was directed by Joseph Kosinski, who did the Top Gun Maverick movie.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't think people are going to like as much. And it's about Chris Hemsworth, like a pharmaceutical CEO, and he's experimenting on these prisoners in this kind of fancy high-tech facility, but they're still, prisoners of the state or federal prisoners, I don't know, but to get, lenient, more, perks and a lenient sentence, they do these pharmaceutical experiments, and, it's, they're definitely blurring the ethical lines on, experimenting on humans, and, the drugs make you do all sorts of different things, and just, there really wasn't much to this. It was mostly just about, the crazy things they would make them do in the experiments, and then, at the end, there's, this attempt to escape. And it just seemed like it was just just kind of a waste of time, a waste of these actors' talents, and like I said, probably would serve better as a short film with no one really attached to it, but.
Because it was based on a short story from the New Yorker, and there's not a whole lot of movies that are based on short stories from the New Yorker. And there was a big deal made of it, but the reviews have not been good. And your review not good. And again, it's it sounds like there might have been a good movie in there, but in the material, but they didn't make it. Is that true?
That's exactly it. Or it's it's just too long for all that subject matter, and definitely you can not watch this. I mean, you can skip over this. Watch Hustle.
Technically, is it well done technically? I mean, because Top Gun,
okay,
Maverick was great.
There's not a whole lot of special effects or anything in it. It's more just takes place in this facility, which is a set, and so they're relying mostly on the acting, and the acting's okay, but it's more just the story, the lack thereof it, and it's just the lack of drama and tension. Chris Hemsworth's even kind of goofy in it, and yeah.
Is he like a hero, or is he kind of like the villain of the movie?
He's kind of the villain. He's
gotcha. And Miles Teller will be our long-suffering.
Yes, Miles Teller would be the hero.
Victim.
Yes. So that's my review of Spiderhead. I would say watch Hustle instead. Much more enjoyable, and we'll see. I also caught something I don't think we've really discussed much on the show. I'll just briefly mention. I caught Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Mike. I know you were staying away from it. And I just much like the first movie, I like the voice cast and stuff. It's very safe. It's it's a probably even a G rating. But Jim Carrey is like having a good time playing this character in these movies. It reminds me of the old Jim Carrey, and so maybe his performance alone makes it worth watching a little bit. And it's a little redundant in places, and probably a little too long. There's this side plot with there's a wedding going on, and that was incredibly stupid. But
anything with streaming Sonic, extremely quickly over to the Paramount Plus.
Yeah, moved over quickly. But again, the 4K I checked, the 4K doesn't come out for months.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was looking for it on 4K just to see, and yeah, it didn't say till August it's not coming out. So they're going to let it ride, I think, trying to get people to sign up for Paramount Plus to check it out, because that's where I caught it.
The closest I got to the Sonic was in the Chip and Dale movie, where they make a lot of fun about the teeth business, where
ugly Sonic.
Yeah, oh my God! Because originally, when the first Sonic, the preview people freaked out about his teeth, had human teeth or something, and they had to go back and for millions of dollars and digitally change it, and they make a big joke of that or a small joke, I should say, in the Chip and Dale movie, which was laugh out loud funny. Again, kids might not get it, but we did.
So that will wrap up our review section of the show. So we're going to move on to news and notes. So anything in the entertainment news, Mike, that caught your eye this week? Any trailers that you saw that you remember?
No, I mean, the new trailer for, as you mentioned, for the Minions is pretty funny, and they're getting out there with that was a documentary which I had not heard of, which was before Phantom of the Open. You familiar with Leonard Cohen?
Yeah,
his music. My first experience with him was the incredible songs in McCabe and Mrs. Miller, which never had a soundtrack. Thank you very much. That again, they weren't written for the movie, but they fit beautifully into McCabe and Mrs. Miller, one of the best movies ever made. And then, of course, Hallelujah that's what the documentary. It's all about the song Hallelujah. You think, really? Well, I mean, it's a great song, and I've not heard a bad version of it. And again, so many people covered it, and it's about the writing of it, and of course he has passed away. But again, I thought, wow, a documentary about the song. It's not a documentary about him, because I think if I'm not mistaken, there was a documentary about him not recently, but again, this is, we'll have to do that in corrections. And again, but this is just about the song, and I will see that. And I thought, wow, that's news to me. And then, of course, a little bit about the business. Again, I understand they were very happy with not only Black Phone's business, but Elvis's business. But, it's going to be neck and neck for number one with Top Gun Maverick. And again, I guess I'm not the only one that's gone more than once. I mean, and it does hold up nice. The word of mouth is fabulous. I mean, Paramount, I'm sure they're going to be very happy because they got Mission Impossible, that first of that last two coming. I mean, when he's going to be coming off with essentially will definitely be the biggest hit of his career. Is a first $1 billion movie.
Yeah, IMDb. I mean, it looks like they're predicting, or Variety is predicting about $30 million for Elvis. So then you would think Top Gun's going to be right around that $30 million area, and then, like I said earlier, Black Phone with $23 million. Probably pretty happy with that.
Sure, probably paid for itself already.
Yeah.
And Top Gun. I mean, you had Jurassic World, Dominion. I mean, it's not that I'm pretty sure that'll be up in the top 5 or whatever. But again, Top Gun's been out longer than that, and I mean, I just don't. I mean, I think they knew from the responses initially, whether Khan and whatever, that they had a hit, but not this kind of a monster. I mean, this will be maybe the top grossing movie of the year. I mean,
yeah.
What's coming up that's going to even approach that?
Well, we got Black Panther 2 later this year.
No, that's true. That's true. That could very well do it. So a big standee at the movie theater for that, and I guess it's just it's not. Well, of course, you got Avatar,
Avatar too,
a long-awaited Avatar coming in December. So there are some things that are going to challenge that. But again, it'll be the movie of the summer. Let's put it that way. It'll be Top Gun Maverick.
Sure. Yeah. So speaking of summer movies, Mike, we got a preview Minions that's coming up for the July 1st weekend, and then the weekend after that is the Thor: Love and Thunder. So, are you going to do a rewatch for Minions? I've already done my Minions rewatch.
I don't have it, so maybe I'll have to borrow yours because I would probably like to. I mean, it's not that I'm pretty familiar with it, but again, it's a origin story of Gru. So I mean, there'll be Easter eggs aplenty as there always are. So again, I might rewatch it. Well, where is Despicable Me and Minions? It's streaming somewhere.
It's Universal, so it's probably Peacock.
Yeah. I have Peacock with commercials. Maybe I'll do it on Peacock, and we'll see. But again, I think I'll get it. And again, it's all about the slapstick and the humor and the Minions themselves. And again, that's what I'm going for. I want to laugh. We need to laugh. It's been a horrible week. I mean, as far as with the news and it's like we all need a laugh. And and then the following week, so there's nothing competing with Minions.
No,
and then the following week is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, and I don't think anything's going to compete with that either.
Right.
Let me look at the coming soon here. But
no,
there's
got to be something following that. Mid-July.
Well, yeah, there's after Thor, I'll look. I got the July releases up here, but no. Going on back to our rewatch, you could also rewatch the first 3 Despicable Me's on top of the Minions movie for this Minions, because this one's called The Rise of Gru. So, no, it looks like there's a couple things that are with Minions here, but I don't think anything is I've even heard of. We got Attack on Finland. Never heard of it. Mr. Malcolm's List, Rocketry, The Nambi Effect,
Mr. Malcolm's, I saw the poster. It is Bridgerton come to the movie theaters. I laughed right out loud. The campaign looked just like that. I thought, okay, Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Okay. What else did you say?
There's Hot Seat. There's 4th of July. I don't know what that is. And Most Guys Are Losers. That says 2020, so I don't even know. And then, Thor Love and Thunder, there's just one other movie, like Marina.
And I think there's Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
That's July
with,
15th.
This Leslie Manville, who was so wonderful, a few things I liked about Phantom Thread, the sister in Phantom Thread. And she plays a woman who, I guess, inherits some money or something, and she wants to buy a Christian Dior dress and goes to Paris in I assume the 50s from what I could tell from the preview. And again, it's going to try and get that older woman audience. And, I like her. I'll probably go to that. Just, it's one of those British movies. I'm hoping to get another good British movie under my belt there. But, again, it's going to be an older audience. And the fact that they're, giving it a theatrical release, you would have thought that might have been a Netflix streaming or something. But, no, that's coming. And I don't know the release date on that, but I know it's coming soon, but again, it's not, it's not going to be that audience for Minions or Thor. So I mean,
that one is July 15th. Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is July 15th, which I don't know why they're releasing it the same week as Where the Crawdads Sing. So that seems like the same audience. That seems like the same audience will be going to that. So
sure.
Yeah, and then July 15th also has that Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank. And
hoping that the Minions crowd will be, see Minions twice and then they'll go to something different,
Yeah, that's an animated one. And then July 22nd is Nope, that's the Jordan Peele.
Oh, yeah, that'll open big. I hope it's good.
And then
hope
July
it's more like Get Out.
I'm looking forward to that one. And then July 29th, we've got the DC League of Super Pets. So looks like in July, every other week, there's an animated movie coming out.
I guess they figured after the pandemic, people are taking their kids to the movies. So.
Yeah, especially for summer. So gives them something to get out and do and beat the heat. And so then the other movies I'm looking forward to in July are the Nope, like we talked about, and the Thor Love and Thunder, which, again, I think you and I both are skeptical on a little bit more than most people.
But I've also read some of those internet reviews that you told me about, and I went and looked too, because the major critics have not been allowed to release it yet, even though it's been screened and all. But again, who's getting all the rave reviews there? Christian Bale as the villain.
Yep.
He's gotten great notifications. So people have. So good for him.
I've heard he doesn't even get enough screen time because people like him so much. They want more of him. So I've heard positive reviews, but again, these are the people that are invited, to see it and who are probably mostly kind to Disney and stuff. So, Disney's gonna return the favor and invite them to the premieres and stuff. So,
and
you gotta wait.
They'll give them a nice review because they're happy they want to get invited again.
Yes, so they want to be invited again. So, Mike, you and I, you got to wait to, people like you and I see it. We'll give our true thoughts because we are not swayed by Disney in any way. So,
Could you check IMDb there, what the running time on that is? You said it was 90 minutes?
Let me look. I got it right here.
Because that's always a bad sign.
Well, I don't know if it's a bad sign, but I have heard it's one of the shorter Marvel movies. But,
I don't mind anywhere around 2 hours. When you get to the 2.5, then I'm concerned because it's not, they didn't know what to edit it, but still, like less than 90 minutes would be a real issue.
Oh, no, it's an hour 59, so it's almost 2 hours.
Right. Yeah, okay. So it's not it's not a numbing experience, so that's okay. I thought, maybe we had heard that it was less than 90 minutes, so that would have been okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the preview looks just so goofy, for lack of a better word, but...
Yeah, I mean, I liked Taika Waititi. I mean, I liked, his non-Marvels, which is like, What We Do in the Shadows, absolute, like, classic now. And, I liked, Jojo Rabbit, and I liked, Hunt for the Wilder People, which that's a good movie,
I haven't
too.
seen that. I have that in my list for Canopy, and I've only heard good things about that, but just haven't had a chance to watch that.
No, that's really good. Sam Neill's in that, and then there's like a kid. So no,
right.
that is I recommend Hunt for the Wilder People and Jojo Rabbit and What We Do in the Shadows.
Well, if you're going to bring up some old movies, I got 2 old movies that I've watched recently that people got to go back and see if they've never seen them. Get Low with Robert Duvall, and we watched Inside Man with the Spike Lee with Denzel Washington and Clive Owen. Both tremendous, held up very well. I mean, and I'm not a big Jodie Foster fan, and she was tremendous in Inside Man. But if you haven't seen Inside Man or Get Low, or if you haven't seen it in years, revisit those 2.
I like those 2 movies too. I like Get Low. It's like kind of a dark comedy, and then Inside
Bill
Man.
Bill Murray, Robert Duvall, and Lucas Black at top of their games. And Sissy Spacek.
Yeah, and Inside Man is a great heist movie. Great heist movie.
Yes, it is. I mean, you were watching it and you don't know where you're going, and then you think it's over, and not exactly. But and Christopher Plummer is wonderful in a small part. But anyway, what else we have on news and notes? So we've done the things that are coming.
I've looked on the IMDb news and notes, and there's not a whole lot on there as far as from last show. So I think maybe we'll wrap it up here, Mike, soon. And unless there's anything you wanna hit on, but I guess moving forward, we'll see how your surgery goes as far as when we'll do our next show.
It's supposedly outpatient, and then I'll hopefully be on just crutches for a week, and then I can go to the movie on crutches. I can handle that. So I'll be going to the Minions. Hopefully, sometime in the evening when there's not going to be a bunch of real life Minions running me down. So, but I'll be there for the Minions.
Okay.
And will you have everybody have a wonderful 4th of July, because we'll get back to you when we have enough things to catch up on.
Yep, that's for sure. So have a good holiday for the 4th of July. Make sure to like and subscribe our channel, and stay tuned for the latest on movie reviews and news and our power rankings. So, all right, Mike, let's say goodbye. And anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, hug your dog over 4th of July. They hate the fireworks.
Yeah. All right. Okay, well, happy holiday, and we'll see everyone at the movies, and catch us on the next show. All right, Mike, we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.